The way they do things, always the same. Watch how you put on your pants. Usually you always start with the same leg every single time. Right? Some people like to put the left leg first. Some people like to put the right leg first. Some people kind of... Now sometimes with me, just to be different, see, I'm a left leg person. Okay, I'm right leg, so I start with my left leg always. In soccer, you plant the left leg, kick with your right. So my left leg tends to be dominant in that respect. So even in putting on my pants, I always put my left leg first. But sometimes when I'm aware, I say, I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to put my right leg first. I mean, talk about adventure, right? This is really adventure here. I'm putting my right leg first into my pants. So there. Okay, we're going to be different. But you know what? It's a small thing, but it speaks of something that I am. See, I am a missionary. I like going to new places. I like driving to far places. I like planes, flying when there's turbulence, okay, and stuff like that. That's me. That's me. It doesn't make me dumb, although some people think it is, but it doesn't make me anything better or worse than anybody else that likes smooth flights. Some people just like it smooth, as though you're just sitting down there for 5 hours. Can you imagine how boring that is? At least if you're going kind of like this, there's some variety to your trip. Even eating becomes an adventure because your food's running all over your table, and stuff like that. Now, I enjoy that. That's me. I like trying new things, going to new places. I like the new. I get bored if I stay in one place. Why? Because it's part of my calling. To go out, to try new things. See? Some of you are that way. Some are not. Doesn't make one better than the other. We're just different. We are unique in that sense. But when you understand what you are called to do, it makes you understand, no wonder I'm like this. The whole time I thought I was weird. You're not weird. You're unique. It's a different spelling. It means the same thing, but different spelling. Okay? So it tells you a little bit about your personality, your temperament, why you are the way you are, why you feel the way you feel, and so on and so forth. Purpose kills boredom instead of time. A lot of people like to kill time. When you understand your purpose, you don't have to kill time. Purpose will always kill boredom. Because you are focused. Purpose keeps you focused on what is important and the things that need to be done. That's your purpose. When you are committed to your purpose, you constantly equip yourself to do what needs to be done. Purpose protects you and keeps you alive. There is a difference between important and urgent. We want to stay away from the urgent and stick to important. Let me show you a little chart here that I learned when I was taking up a leadership class. And it goes something like this. Okay? We put a 4-way chart, important and not important, urgent and not urgent. Okay? Let's look at something that's important and urgent. That first box up there. Okay? Important and urgent. This is called an emergency. It needs to be done. Somebody's getting a heart attack. It's urgent and it's important that it's dealt with right now. You got to do it. If something is important to you and it is urgent, that should always take priority. But you know what? This is called panic mode. You don't want to stay there. Because that will always keep you stressed out. You don't want to stay there. What about not important but urgent? What do we do with that? Well, what we need to do is we delegate that. It's not important anyway, but it needs to be done. Let somebody else do it. Okay? What about not important and not urgent? What do you think you need to do with that? Nothing. It's a time waster. It's a time waster. It's not important and it's not urgent. Stay away. That's what we do when we're trying to kill time. So what we really want is what is important but not urgent. That's called equipping yourself. It's important, but I don't need to do it right now. I have time. So you're anticipating. You're preparing for something. It's like, for example, Manny Pacquiao. Okay? He's about to get into a fight. So he counts back 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever, and he starts to train. Now it's important to train. But it's not urgent that he trains right now. He has time. But if he's going to go and decide, well, okay, I'm going to fight Mayweather next week, then he enters important and urgent. See? You don't want to do that. It's very stressful. Stay away from that. Now, when you are mindful of your purpose, what happens is you begin to anticipate. I know what I'm going to need. Even Jesus said, my Father knows what you need even before you ask. See? That's why with God, there is no emergency. God has no emergency. Everything He anticipates. He knows everything. He knows everything. God does not even know what the word emergency is. In Hebrews chapter 10 verse 7, we saw it earlier. We saw it in Training for Reigning. But in Hebrews chapter 10 verse 7 it says, behold, it is written in the volume of the books, I have come to do your will. See, the Father sent me to do one thing, your will. He taught us that prayer, thy will be done on earth. See, you have to understand something. On earth, in your life, nothing is more important than God's will. Nothing. That has to be our priority. Our problem oftentimes is we get saved, we become Christians later on in life. You know? I mean, more blessed are people who became Christians while they were still children. Like some of our kids, for example. They grew up in a Christian family. That's so far better than, like in my case, I got saved in my old age, 20. See? Now that's still better than other people who got saved when they're 30 or 40 or 50. But what we need to understand is that many times what happens is that a lot of people, they go through life thinking a certain way, then they get saved, and the only thing they know is, well, I'm still a businessman that happens to be saved. So they will still continue to do their own thing, not mindful of God's will for them. And even when they become mindful, they don't really care. At least I'm saved, that's good enough. They don't give the right, they don't put God's will as their number one priority in life. Whatever our calling is, nothing is more, even Jesus said, no one goes to heaven, no one goes to my Father except those who do the will of my Father. So not everyone who cries, Lord, Lord, will make it to heaven except those who obey the will of my Father. See, the proof of our Christianity is our desire to do God's will. Not because we have to, but because we want to. Doing God's will is not a burden. It's a joy. It is a joy to do God's will, whatever that might be. I didn't think preaching would be a joy for me. I didn't think being a teacher, my first calling in the fivefold, would be a joy for me. In fact, I didn't want to be a teacher. And now that's what I like doing. It's my joy. God gave me that joy so that I will actually enjoy doing His will. Doing His will is fun. You know why? Because first of all, God put everything in you that you will need to be successful and victorious in doing God's will, in fulfilling God's will. So when you are doing God's will, you are maximized. Every part of you, spirit, soul, and body, is being used. You are so fulfilled when you do God's will.